Hello class, this is lecture video for chapter 14, Basic Graphic Elements. Basically, we're going to continue to talk about how to use the pen tool to create some shapes or objects or graphs. So let's open a new document in InDesign. We already know that when you use the pen tool, you can use it to create some straight lines. Simply click here, create a starting point, and then click again, create another starting point, click, and this is how you create straight lines with pen tool in InDesign. But the most beautiful thing about the pen tool in InDesign is actually you can use it to create beautiful curves. We already practiced a little bit last time in chapter 11. Now let's talk more of how to use pen tools to create beautiful curves. We already know that when you use a pen tool to create curvy lines, you need to click the starting point. We need to tell InDesign that this is another graph, so undo, select another tool to unselect the pen tool and select it again, and then click the starting point. Don't release your mouse. Drag these direction handles. The position and the length of the direction handles determines the shape of the curvy line. So let's say we're going to put the direction handle this long and at this angle, and then let's put this ending point. Click again, put the direction handle the same length, the same angle, and click here, put the direction handle the same length, same angle again, and this will be how the shape looks like. And let's give it a stroke color, give it a weight of 5 point. This will be how the curvy line looks like, and we can give it a fill color. Let's say yellow, and give the color a 30% tint, and this is what we created with the pen tool. We can also use the pen tool to create a bell shape. Let's see how we can create a bell shape. So we use the pen tool again. This will be the starting point. Click and drag. Make sure drag horizontally, and let's say this line. And then click the top point and then drag it horizontally. Make sure it's horizontally about the same length, and then click here, drag it about the same length, also horizontally. We created a kind of like a bell shape. And the next step in the textbook, which actually is in page 382, we need to go to here and drag a line to here. There's a sharp curve here, but if you just click here, notice that this turn is not a sharp turn. It goes to this direction first and then gradually curve it to this direction. That is because when we click here, this direction handle goes this way. So InDesign assume that our next click will be somewhere here. and it's not ready to go this direction. So if we want to tell InDesign that we want to have a sharp turn here, we need to press Option and then click here and then move this direction handle to this direction. And that way we tell InDesign we're not going to that direction at all anymore, we're going to this direction. And then we can click here. See, we have a line goes from here to here, but it's a sharp turn. And then when the pen tool moves close to the beginning point, notice that there's a circle close to the pen tool. It's telling you that if you click here, you are about to create a closed path. So let's click here, create a closed path, and give it a yellow fill, and give it a blue stroke. And that's how the bell shape that we created. And you can also, of course, you can also with the pen tool, you can create a wave line. So let's see how we can create a wave line. And this is kind of like a wave in the sea, and let's give it a blue color. Well, we can also give it a blue fill. Maybe not a blue fill, but certainly a blue stroke, and make it so that looks like a curvy, a wave line in the sea. If we use the direct selection tool and select the curvy line, we will notice that you can still find out the direction handles. For example, if you click here, you will see those two direction handles. And if you move the direction handles, you can still change the shape of the curvy line, like what we are doing right now. But the thing is that if you move the upper part of the direction handle, the lower part of the direction handle also moves. And same as if you move the lower part of the direction handle, the upper part also moves. Let's say if you do not want, you just want to move half of the direction handles, then you need to again press Option and then move the direction handles. That way you only change half of the direction handles, so to give you more choices of changing the shape of the curvy line. And that's something that we wanted to remember, or we want to know. And if you look at the pen tool, it actually have several options. As a pen tool option, it can also allow you to add an anchor point or delete an anchor point. And what is add anchor point? So this is an anchor point. This is an anchor point. This is anchor point. An anchor point always has two direction handles. So an anchor point allows us to add it to the shape of the line. And if you delete, now we are using the delete anchor point tool. If you delete an anchor point, you change the shape of the line, and you also lose the opportunity of editing it. And let's say now there's no anchor point in the middle of this line. If we want to add somewhere here, if we want to edit it, we need to add a anchor point here first, and then you see the handle direction, and you can move it, use the direct selection to move it and change the shape of the curvy line. So adding and deleting an anchor point impacts our capability of editing the shape of the path. We can also use this convert direction point tool to change the point of the direction of that point. So you will see that this point, anchor point, it's still here. It's just the direction has been changed. Make it a, rather than making it a curvy turn, and make it a kind of a sharp turn here. That's the function of the changing the direction of the anchor point. The changing the direction of the anchor point is also useful. In a textbook, we have a little exercise, and in which we can use the pen tool. So let's use the pen tool to create a circle. How to use the pen tool to create a circle? And let's start from here. We click this set and then drag down vertically. Make sure it's vertically. And then let's click here and drag, not that way. Okay, so let's do it this way. Drag upward, and then I guess we need to start it over. Pen tool. Drag vertically, and then here horizontally, and then here horizontally, vertically, I'm sorry, vertically, and then here horizontally, so it's not really a circle, but when you look at it, it looks like a circle. And maybe we can add it here a little bit. And now we have kind of like a circle like this, but if you use the convert direction point tool, you can change the directions and turn it into a, turn the curvy curves into sharp turns. And that's the function of changing the direction tool. One more thing about the pen tool, and you can actually use the pen tool to connect two paths into one. Let's say, let's move this thing to here. Let's say we create a, let's see this one. We create a curve here, we think it's beautiful, and we make a copy here. And then we wanted to, right now there are two paths, right? We wanted to connect them together. So what we can do is that move the ending of this path closer to move the beginning point of this path to the ending point of this path. And let's make it larger so that we can see it clearly. Here it is. And then let's change it back to the pen tool. Click the ending point of this line, and then the beginning point. This is the beginning point of the second line and the ending point of the first line. We will see a little sample here, and when you see that sample, when you a sign, when you see that little sign, you know that you are ready to connect. So just click, and now we can see that those two are connected together. Let me see, maybe the other way around. Click here first, and then it's the same. I just have a extra anchor point. In that case, we can simply delete this anchor point, and then we make this two paths. Now we make it one path. And if you want, you can use the scissor tool to cut it, make it two paths again, and then if you want, you can again connect those two as one. That will still use the pen tool. Click this area and then click here, and if you do not like this extra anchor point, just delete it so it will connect it together. In chapter 11, we've talked about how to use a pathfinder to create some interesting objects, and we've said that is a very useful tool when you create logo. And in chapter 14, there's also another way to create a interesting shape, which you can use in logo or other publication designs. That's called create compounding path. So let's again create a star first, give it a red color, and let's say blue stroke. And then let's create we have a shape here, so let's use that shape. Why not just use this shape? And we put those two together, select both. You can use Command A, or go to Object, let's say Object Path, make compound path, let me see what's the if maybe we need to move this thing to the back. Okay. This is not what we want. That's interesting. Let me see again. And this happens, so we make a compound path, and there's again a hole. It's kind of like the subtraction in the Pathfinder, but it's actually different. You put those two together and make it a compound path. So this is something that we can play with when we try to create some logos. That small project is actually in page 391, so you can play that if you want. Okay, that's all for chapter 14. Thank you very much. Bye bye.